to even see him attach the DCE to this Buzzwole so that he can retreat it on the next turn. We'll see what he ends up doing, though.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, his hand is actually pretty good. He's already got the Zork. He has a Lele. He has a Lily. So he has options for next turn. I think I see a Banette in there as well, but opting for double Zork. He figures maybe, Schemanske can get a Baby Buzz himself and a Guzma to knock out the Zorua. So wants to just make sure he'll get a Zork next turn.
Yeah, he has a Zoroark in hand already, so he wants to make sure he gets at least one in play next turn. It's pretty easy for Alex to pull off a play where he just, as we see here, Nest Balls for Buzzwole, gets an energy on it, and uses a Guzma to take a quick knockout. And even though Xander has 2 Zoruas, I think that is still a really strong play from Alex if he can pull it off. We'll see what the rest of his hand contains. But yeah, that would just really put Xander on kind of the back foot. He would need a lot of cards to respond to this.
Xander also didn't attach the... oh, here we go.
Yeah. I think he didn't attach it, maybe playing around this potential play, so he has the DC.
Yeah, I think now he can actually knock out this Buzz because he does run 3 copies of Devoured Field. So if he can find a full bench, he will be able, and the Devoured Field, he would be able to knock out this baby Buzzwole. So
he needs a decent amount of cards to pull it off, but he definitely has the ability to do it. The cards are available to him, so he'll have to draw pretty well. Let's see if he can do it. He's thinning out his hand as much as possible, actually opting to Lily here.
He does have the Devoured Field.
He has a Lele and a Nest Ball. I think he might be 1 Pokemon short. No, there's a Rescue Stretcher in his hand. He can get there if he wants to. Oh no, that would still put him 1 Pokemon short, right?
So he'd need to trade into his 4th Pokemon, and he's thinking about this.
Trade.
There's
Timer
a Timer Ball
and
and a DC. So that's not going to pull it off. It'll be 20 short, which is unfortunate.
I mean, even still, though, he'll be able to 2-shot this Buzzwole. It's, sure, it's hitting for weakness. It does put on a decent amount of pressure, but I believe he actually has an Acerola in his hand, so he can try to, heal that off and still take a knockout on this Buzzwole. So he didn't get the knockout, but he's still in a fine position.
So he's eyeing either that Trubbish or another Zorua. He only he only runs 1 Rescue Stretcher, so maybe he wants to save it for a little later. And just, he figures he's not going to get the knockout this turn, so no reason to play it. But, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, just hold on to it for now. Maybe if using it to get back a Zoroark could be useful, or even that Banette that he discarded. Yeah, no reason. If you're just taking the 2-shot, no reason to do it now. And I think we'll probably see him hold the Devoured Field. He can play it next turn without even benching anything else to get the knockout. And he wants to be able to counter the Shrine of Punishments if it comes into play.
Yep, and he does do that, and there is the Shrine, the Choice Band. Alex is playing a lot of cards here.
Wow.
I didn't see a supporter in his hand. I might have one. He showed it pretty quick, but this is already, that was a good...
Yeah, and he's got access to Smooth Over, so like if he has a Rangaroo or even like Acrobike or Kukui, he could draw whatever card he wants here with the Smooth Over from Magcargo. Looks like he's putting a Lily on the top. Maybe just needing that supporter for next turn, as you said, not having one currently. So he'll still be able to hit a decent amount of damage here. He's going to be doing 120 for just 1 energy, which is pretty crazy. But as we said, Xander does have an Acerola in his hand.
And now he'll just swing on the Zork, and then the Shrine Tick will put it to 130, but Xander's not too worried about that at all.
Yep. All that damage is going to go away here very soon. See what he wants to trade first. Definitely wants to put the Devoured Field in play. Debating maybe playing a Timer Ball. We'll see him roll 2. Oh my goodness. It's those 2, so he got 1 heads. Had a little bit of a dice explosion there on the table, but I think we got it figured out.
He knows what he's taking. It's interesting he plays his Timer Ball here, because he has the Acerola for that same Zork, but maybe he just wants to get this Zork out of the deck so he doesn't draw it with his trade.
Yeah, he could also be looking for the potential, like if he draws another energy plus Guzma. I actually think he might have those cards in his hand. He could take out Magcargo potentially, which would be pretty decent as well. Maybe even, probably Magcargo over Trubbish, but those are other options he has available to him this turn.
I think he wants to maybe target down the Magcargo because he saw Alex has 1 card in hand, and he probably put a draw supporter, which means this Zork isn't in danger of being knocked out from, say, a Guzma.
Yeah, Guzma, sure.
So, actually, a pretty smart play by Xander here. Trades once. He trades away the Lele.
Go into another one.
So he doesn't have enough to knock out the A cargo right now, I don't think.
With Devoured Field, puts it up to 90.
Oh, you're right. Yep. So he has the Lele. So probably just taking a supporter here. Another Acerola.
Yeah, I think chaining a couple Acerolas back to back could be a really good set of turns for Xander. We'll
Yeah.
see if that's what he wants to do. And maybe actually eyeing up taking Guzma instead. Maybe he wants to try back to back Guzmas if Alex is able to maybe say set up another Slugma.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to have the option to take that out. Just leave himself with options. Looks like actually not even going to grab either of those. It's going to be a Cynthia. Maybe.
All right, he
Nope,
takes the
Acerola.
Acerola. He figures maybe it'll be at least one more turn before the Sledgehammer play comes into effect. So just wants to, I don't know, have it for next turn. Maybe he wants to trade it later.
These cards that Alex draws off the Lily he put on top are going to be pretty important. He needs to find another Buzzwole so that he can have a attacker going set up for Sledgehammer turns. Like he needs 2 Buzzwoles in play. He wants to find another Mag Cargo. Even a Rangaroo will help him draw cards. We see him be able to get the full Lily for 6 though. Maybe he can find a
There's an
Deancey.
Ultra Ball in there.
Deancey could be good to boost the damage, but he's still 2-shotting regardless. Might just want to opt for a Buzzwole or Slugma.
Yeah. That's the Buzzwole right there.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and I think Buzzwole is probably the correct take here. Xander has played a few items, so like Trash Launch can do a decent amount of damage. Not going to be taking a knockout on a clean Zoroark or anything, but might be able to clean up one that's been damaged by Shrine or Sledgehammer. Got a Choice Band as well. Could attach that. I think he knows Xander doesn't play Field Blower at this point. So he's going to hold off for now, though. Just hits for 120, and then all the GXs in play take 10 damage from Shrine. There's another Zorua. So if
He
you're
might have taken that out for
Xander,
prizes.
he could have, yes, yeah. If you're Xander, do you think you want to go for a Guzma play, maybe, and take care of a Trash Lynch, or are you just worried about this Buzzwole in the active spot?
So I think taking out the Trash Launch is actually kind of smart because that leaves his Zoroarks damaged, so it kind of lowers the power of Sledgehammer. The Zoroarks would be knocked out regardless of the 4 prize thing, so he limits what Schemanske can do, and then he has Acerola to heal the other Zoroark if he wanted.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see if he goes that route. He definitely still could Acerola. Like I think that would be fine as well. But he has the options. Looks like he's pulling the Guzma to the front, so he might be going for it. He does need 2 more benched Pokemon.
He's got the Zorua, and then eyeing that Stretcher, probably taking the other draw out of his discard. He's opting actually to just use Acerola. This play is fine as well. He'll just he'll force Schemanske to swing on a damaged Zoroark anyway.
Actually, yeah, he's going to go ahead and send up Zoroark. I was going to say he could have even just used Energy Drive with Lele, put the Buzzwole up to 120, and then maybe tried to set up a play with a Banette to do what I was talking about earlier, where he plays around Sledgehammer entirely.
Yeah.
But looks like he's just going to opt to attack with the Zoroark here.
I think that play is a little too, like he's kind of basically just telling Schemanske what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Schemanske has a Guzma response, it really just kind of a wasted turn.
Sure.
So doesn't need to get too cheeky.
And I think if I'm Alex here, I'm going to be looking to try to, if he can find all the cards to maybe get a knockout on that Lele with Sledgehammer, that would probably be his best target since this Zoroark is so damaged.
Yep.
Although taking a Zoroark out of play is still good because, you're taking out their draw engine.
Yeah. So Schemanske draws. He's got draw supporters in his hand. I think there's a Cynthia.
Yeah, and he does attach the fighting to the active, so it looks like he's just content taking the knockout on this Zoroark with Sledgehammer. So Xander is making sure Alex isn't going to get total full effect. He's not taking a clean Zoroark out of play, but he is still going to take 2 prizes here.
Yeah, definitely. I think Alex is down 2 Shrine as well. He'd like another Shrine to keep the damage ticking on the back, but
3 Professor Kukuis. He just drew 3 Professor Kukuis in a row, as well as the Beast Energy Prism Star and Deancey. Oh my goodness.
that was not what he wants to draw.
Hey, we're going to see him Ultra Ball here. Could see an Oranguru come out. He does have a low hand size, maybe even a Slugma, though, to draw some cards.
Does take the Oranguru.
So we'll see. He'll start instructing. I don't think he had a supporter follow up besides Kukui, and he just Ultra Balled away 2 of the 3 he drew. Yeah, his list plays 3 Kukui, and all 3 of them were in his hand, so.
I think he drew another Ultra Ball.
That's what it looked like.
And he'll take down this damage Zork. And now Xander, he's got the Banette ready to go, and Banette does a lot of work against these Buzz Shrine decks. Hits both for weakness, resists fighting, has that shady move to do a lot of cool manipulation there. So
yeah, and Shadow Chant, just such a powerful attack as well, like we said. Can knock out Buzzwoles and Garbodor. They're both weak to Psychic, so it makes pretty easy work. 30 damage plus 10 more for each supporter in your discard pile, up to 10 supporters, so cap at 130. Doesn't really matter, though, when everything in Alex's deck has 130 HP or less, or is weak to Psychic.
Right. He attaches a DCE to that Zork on the bench. He's eyeing his discard in that Stretcher.
So we're going to see a Shady move, put the 10 damage from the Lele on to the Garbodor, making it easier for Zoroark to knock out with the Devoured Field in play. And we're just going to see the promotion of Garbodor. Not sure how much Trash Lanche is hitting for, but it's got to be a decent amount. Should set up a good 2-shot for Alex. So we see Rescue Stretcher.
Probably taking a...
He might get back his Magcargo line. No, it's going to be the Buzzwole. He needs to have these attackers in play.
We didn't see what his hand was, but he does have the Beast Energy. I think he got a Cynthia off of his prizes.
That's good.
So much better than the third Kukui. I think he wants to save that Kukui for like a swing with the Buzz. He could knock out a clean Zork with that baby Buzz if he gets a Choice Band as well. So maybe he wants to save that for one last, sledgehammer knockout. But the biggest problem for Alex is he's going to need to find a way to kind of deal with this Banette. He can hit it now, but Xander has Acerola, and it's always going to be a threat waiting.
Sure. Looks like he's eyeing up Sudowoodo here with this Nest Ball. He also has the Slugma in his hand, so it looks like he's opting not to get Sudowoodo and is instead probably going to bench the Slugma here. Does come down, wants to get Magcargo back up and smooth over his trades. Or smooth over his draws, I should say.
Looks like Trash Lanche, there's 6 items in there.
120 damage.
So if I'm Xander, do I maybe want to try and find a way to take down this Buzz on the bench because of the threat it poses? Because this Trash Lanche isn't going to knock out anything in one hit yet. So...
yeah, it certainly seems pretty threatening. It's definitely more threatening than the Garbodor. So a Guzma play here would be nice. He could even Shady move a counter somewhere else. I think that might be what he's thinking about here. Where does he want to place his damage? He does need a Guzma as well as 2 basic Pokemon to knock out the Buzzwole, but he has a pretty large hand as well as access to 1 trade.
So he also has an Ultra Ball, he has a Nest Ball, and he has a Rescue Stretcher. So I think he can get the requisite cards he needs.
The problem then becomes he... oh, interesting. He chose not to use Shady Move before using Acerola.
I think maybe that was...
yeah, he may have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he uses all those cards to get the basic Pokemon he needs, he's then played a lot of items, and then Garbodor becomes much more of a threat.
Right, so he's opting to take out the Garbodor here. He has Devour Field, so he actually only needs 1 more basic, which is that the Shuppet in his hand. But he's kind of going in here with
Wants
more.
To set something else up.
Yeah, I would have liked the Shady move to put it on the baby Buzz, so then if Alex replaces with a Shrine, he can still knock it out with a Zoroark.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that might just be a small little misstep from Xander. There's been a lot of Pokemon played the past 2 days. We're in round 13, so it gets a little tiring. You make a mistake or 2 here and there. Hopefully, Xander can recover from that, though. I think a trademark of a great player is being able to recover when you make mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure what he's ultra going for. Maybe the next Shuppet. This way he can just guarantee that a Banette will come into play next turn.
Sure.
And he can try and sweep the game with the Banette. Or the Trubbish, but he did just discard the Garbodor. So
I think does he still have his rescue stretcher? I don't think he's used it yet.
Yeah.
So he can have the option to get it back. I guess he's just leaving himself with multiple options next turn.
Right.
One thing I don't like, though, is the fact that he only has one trade up and running.
He'll knock this out. So if Alex can find I don't see a Macargo in his hand. But if Alex can find that Kukui and a Choice Band, he can knock this out in one hit. So that's what he's going to try and do here. See what he draws. Couldn't see what that was. Acrobike.
He doesn't even need the Kukui, I don't think, because of the DNC Prism Star, right? That should put him over
30,
if he finds Choice Band.
80.
I mean.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
It could either be Choice Band or it could be Kukui plus the DNC. So there's the Kukui. Should be able to get him there now.
I don't think I see it.
Well, he doesn't need it now because of the DNC, right? He needed
30,
Choice Bands.
30, 60. No, he's actually 10 short.
Oh yeah.
It does.
So
It'll do
Shrine
100.
Of Punishments here.
Yep.
Would get there.
But it looks like they are getting ready to attack, and he just whiffs. This is a huge whiff. If Xander can find an Acerola, if he still has one,
yeah, this is a huge opening for Xander.
This could be
if he
massive.
can take advantage of this. I think he's used 2 Acerola though, so I don't think he'll have access to one. He did discard his Lucamine as well. He could Palpad. I believe he plays Palpad, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if it's in his hand though.
No, it actually doesn't look like he does play the Palpad in his list.
So there's 2 Acerola in the discard.
Yeah, it looks like Acerola won't be an option anymore this game. He can still Guzma. He's got Mallow. No, he's going to trade away the Mallow. Finds Kukui. Got a couple Ultra Balls in his hand he's thinking about playing, I think. Brings a Guzma to the front. Guzma could take out Trubbish, that's a threat. But man, this damage on this Zoroark is just eventually going to rack up thanks to Shrine of Punishments from Alex. So Alex is, with 2 Acerola in Xander's discard pile, Alex was fine, leaving this a little short.
Well, actually, so this is pretty big. The Shady move will put put the Zoroark out of range of the Shrine of Punishment tick. So this is actually the opening that Xander needed. So now, only one thing will get knocked out in Alex's next turn.
Yeah, definitely smart there from Xander. He can continue to do that, honestly, and make sure that Shrine never knocks out the Zoroark, assuming he can at least find a stadium to replace the Shrine if one does come into play.
Xander reattaches the double to the Zoroark, kind of, putting him in a checkmate situation. If he kills the Zoroark, then he has Banette. If he kills the Banette somehow, then he's got Zoroark to finish the game. And he put the 2 damage on there to make sure he doesn't even need another Pokemon.
Yep.
So
set himself up seemingly perfectly. See how many items he has. Looks like Xander is in a good spot here in this one. We'll see what Alex has to counteract it. We see a switch. Going to send up a Trubbish. Maybe a switch into a Guzma play.
He has the Guzma. Switch
Double
back.
switch. I think he's just trying to draw cards with Instruct. Fighting Energy and another Guzma. I don't think those things help him.
I think he understands that Xander has a knockout this turn.
He can maybe try to bring something up and hope Xander doesn't have a Guzma, but I'm pretty sure I did see one in Xander's hand. Okay, so he's going to bring up Lele.
Try and stall. If Xander doesn't have a way to get out of this, but he has the Guzma.
Guzma brings up a Pokemon, and Shadow Champ will be able to clean it up for the knockout.
Okay, we'll go to game 3. We see...
Ooh, that second Magcargo was in Alex's prizes.
Xander showed there right at the end. We see how powerful Shady Move is. It's only 1 damage, but... so many games come down to just 1 damage off. So very well played by Xander. Unfortunately that Alex didn't hit like a Choice Band that turn to knock out the Zoroark, but very well played by both players.
Yeah, so definitely a really solid game 1 there. What do you think we're going to need to see change from Alex moving into game 2? Is he going to have to adjust his strategy in some way?
Well, it was unfortunate. Xander targeted on the Macargo so fast, and that's kind of how Alex's deck functions, is through that Macargo. He's probably going to want to not prize the second Macargo this time.
Sure.
But, honestly, prioritizing the Macargo and then trying to make sure that you can, keep manipulating your deck and do what you need to do. Because without it, the deck is kind of so reliant on just what you draw, and it's a lot weaker without that.
Yeah, I mean, Alex does have the, like, 2 rescue stretchers, so he could have gotten Magcargo back at some point. The thing was, like, he needed it to use it to get Buzzwoles back. Like, he needed attackers, so...
Right.
I mean, sure, you can shuffle 3 Pokemon back in, but then you have to hope to draw them off of your supporter or something like that. He needed the instant access to them. So I think we're going to kick things back over to the game. Alex Schemanske is going to be going first in game number 2 of this set.
Alex starts with a Buzzwole Energy and then a Kukui and passes, so not the best, but I'm looking at Xander's hand.
Oh, it looks like a Judge, and that's about it.
He's got a Lily as well, but the Lily will only draw 3, so he needs to get a basic. He has to just draw or play the Judge. He'll see more cards with the Judge.
Yeah, I mean, Alex at that point also had like 7 or 8 cards in his hand, so you know, I think Judge is really good against this Buzzwole Shrine deck, especially early on before Magcargo and Oranguru are in play.
Yeah.
Because their deck is just naturally, like, it just inherently a little clunky, right? Like, so many cards that you need at specific times. If you draw them out of order, it doesn't really work out well for you.
Xander gets an S-Ball, so this game is not over. He also has a Banette, so he can grab a Shuppet, and he'll have an attacker swinging for next turn.
Yep.
He can also retreat. He can retreat the Zorua and hope that Alex doesn't have a second Kukui and like a Beast Energy or the Diancie.
Yeah, Shuppet thankfully is resistant to fighting, so it would be a little harder for Alex to knock out Shuppet as opposed to the Zorua.
I actually think the only way he would knock it out is with like Beast Energy and
I think Kukui plus Diancie would do it, or like...
No, that's 70 because the Shuppet has 60
Oh,
HP.
you're right. Yep. There is another Shuppet that has 50, but this one does have 60. So he would need the Beast Energy plus the Diancie or Kukui.
I'm pretty sure this Shuppet is run exclusively because of that situation. I think the other Shuppet has like a Hypnosis attack, so it's a better attack, but the HP is just so valuable.
Alex does draw a Kukui, though, so if he does find Diancie... No, that wouldn't be it, right? It has to be
He has to hit a Beast Energy off of this Kukui.
He has a Nest Ball as well in his hand. I think a Cynthia, too, though.
He's eyeing that Kukui. He might be...
He has to have Kukui... Or he has to have... Yeah, it just has to be the Beast Energy off Kukui, or he could Cynthia and try to find Diancie plus Beast Energy.
So he's playing Nest Ball first, obviously checking if the Beast Energy is not in there, he's going to play the Cynthia. But he takes the Diancie, so... it's not going to knock out.
I thought I saw a Cynthia in his hand, so he may opt for that instead of the Kukui. It sees more cards for him to try to draw Beast Energy if he wants to get the knockout.
And he does play the Cynthia. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he doesn't get the Beast Energy, right, like, it's one card out of his still relatively thick deck. It's pretty unlikely he hits it.
Right.
You know, still hitting the Shuppet for 30 damage is decent. If Xander doesn't find a Banette, which we know he has one, but if he wasn't to find one, you can 2-hit the Shuppet. And, I mean, I think this play from Xander definitely should telegraph to Alex, hey, I have Banette in my hand. Yeah, we'll see if he gets there. I don't think we'll see it.
Let's just Slugma. There's an Ultra Ball in his hand as well.
He got it!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, 60 damage coming out. Gonna knock out the Shuppet. That is huge. I don't know how Xander can respond to that. He has a Cynthia and a Lily in his hand.
So he tops the Devoured Field. So off of this Cynthia, he needs to hit a Zoroark, a Double Colorless, and 5 Pokemon.
Oh, man.
So...
And there's 2 energy on this Buzzwole, so next turn it's ready to start using Swing Around, which will knock out Zoroark even if he's not on Sledgehammer. Alex is just like... that hitting the Beast Energy there was massive for Alex Schemanske.
Yeah, seeing a lot of cards, and none of them are Zoroark and 5 Pokemon.
I think Xander's checking time, seeing how much is left in the round. Does he even want to continue playing this game out, or do we want to go to a game 3? Xander is definitely definitely someone who's always conscious of the clock.
And he just concedes. He realizes, no point. That's crazy.
Yeah. Man, Acrobike for the win there. Coming in, finding the Beast Energy. Yeah, Alex was just like, even if Xander, like, hit the Buzzwole for a little bit of damage, like, Alex is just going to attach an energy, use Swing Around, and just knock out his Zoroark. So yeah, it was just a lose-lose situation, honestly, for Xander. He recognized it, says we're going to game 3.
You know, it's pretty funny. That reminds me of when Isaiah yesterday played the Kukui into the Switch to knock out Michael Pramawat's Rockruff that he wasn't expecting to get knocked out that turn. So
these Buzzgarb Shrine players just finding their one-ups early on in the game.
Yep, off of Kukui.
Don't even need Magcargo, man. I'm going to find them naturally.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. I mean, that's, you know, Sometimes that's how Pokemon works.
It does.
But that would have been a much better setup for Alex anyway. He had the Slugma right away. He had a supporter and Ultra Ball for the next turn, so he was ready to play in that game.
So, I mean, actually thinking about it, like looking back at that first turn of the second game, maybe it was correct for Xander to just let the Zorua get knocked out. Protect the Shuppet, you know you need it. Like, sure, it's very unlikely. Like, I think Xander's definitely someone who knows the odds, plays the odds kind of thing. It's very unlikely that Alex gets there, but if he gets there, you just lose the game, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it was correct to let the Zorua go down. You have Banette, you have a supporter, so you can still draw cards and maybe get the energy and maybe an Ultra Ball or something to get rid of more supporters for Shadow Chance.
Yeah, I guess Xander probably, I think Xander's play was 9% of the time, the right one.
Sure.
So Alex, but, pretty crazy. Alex needed that quick win. The Buzzgarb decks, it takes a long time to win.
Sure.
So now they got a little over 20 minutes to play a good game 3 here. And this matchup is pretty close. So, could go either way. So,
yeah, and I'm excited to see this. Like, two of the game's best players. Both these guys are so young. Both of them second-year masters. Actually, this will be their third season now.
Yep.
Yeah, and Alex Schemanske has, a bunch of regionals top 8s under his belt. Xander's won 3 regionals and top 4 worlds. So these guys are some of the best in the game, even at such a young age. And Xander's going to get things going. Starting Coco's pretty solid, but on Alex's side, he gets Sudowoodo in play early, which is very, very good.
Yeah, Sudowoodo, kind of the check on Zoroark. It was, it actually came out before Zoroark was even a card to counter Mega Rayquaza, but it's found a home in the anti-Zoroark fan club here. So, but Banette obviously does not care about Roadblock.
Sure.
And he starts Shuppet and Trubbish. No Zorua. Don't think he's played a supporter yet, but I think he's eyeing that Lily for 5.
5 cards off the top seems pretty good. I think, he wanted to nest ball for the Shuppet because he has more Zoruas in the deck, so it's higher odds that he draws the Zoruas off of the Lily, as opposed to drawing the Shuppets off of the Lily. So I think it was smart play. Wants to have both of them in play and, have the option to, since he has the Banette in his hand now, maybe take a knockout on this Sudowoodo fast with Banette.
He'll pass. Alex starts with a Nest Ball. He has 2 copies of Switch and 3 Guzma. So that's the only way he's going to get this Sudowoodo out of the active spot. Obviously, Guzma, say like to hit that Zorua would be great with the Buzzwole, but he'll need to find a Switch card here relatively soon.
Yeah, Guzma to knock out Zorua would be a huge play. Let's see if he has it. It looks like a Lily in his hand, and that's what he's going to go for. Drawing 6 cards off the top. Such a good card on his first turn.
There's the next Beast Energy.
Ooh,
so
and he found a Switch as well.
Shuppet beware.
See if he uses Switch. I don't know that you really care about hitting this Coco too much right now.
He opts to pass. Just make sure his Pokemon don't take too much damage. Timer Ball here. Single heads is good enough, but...
it looks like he did get 1 heads. Yeah, double tails there would have felt real bad. This lets him find a Zoroark, though, and he can start trading, start figuring out what he wants to do. He does have options. He can even knock out this Sudowoodo with the Zoroark, which wouldn't be too bad, I don't think. He needs 1 more basic and a double colorless. It's actually easier to knock it out with Zoroark, I think, at this point than Banette. Banette's attack Shadow Chain is very powerful, but it's really only great later on in the game once you've played a bunch of supporter cards and discarded them.
Yeah, the thing that that Xander doesn't know is Alex actually has the Beast Energy in his hand. So with a couple more cards, Choice Band and Diancie, or Choice Band and Kukui, which he also has, he could knock out a fresh Zoroark. So, Alex is ready for this Zoroark to come up if it does in fact.
And finding Beast Energy this early, 2 games in a row for Alex Schemanske. These are the type of things you need to draw if you want to do well at a regional championships. I've always heard, to have success at major tournaments like this, a few things have to be true. Like, first off, you have to be a good player. You have to build a good deck and pick a good deck for the day. But at the same time, it also just has to be your day. The draws have to go your way. You have to get a little lucky here and there. And looks like Alex Schemanske is having the draws go his way today.
Xander only has 2 supporters in the discard right now. The synergy here is that Zoroark discards supporters with trade to power up Banette. But right now, it's just so early that the chances of him having a ton are very low. He's debating between Cynthia and Guzma. I think I would discard the Guzma here, actually. But he opts to discard the Cynthia.
Yeah, it depends on what he wants to try to do with his next turn. Maybe he wants to try to target down something like, I mean, maybe he's once again assuming his Zoroark's not going to get knocked out here. He'll have at least access to some sort of draw with trade.
True.
But Kukui plus the Beast Energy, there's an Acrobike that can help him dig for the other pieces he needs. I think he does need a Choice Band at least, right?
I don't see what the other card is. It was Judge and...
He needs either Choice Band or he needs Diancie plus Shrine of Punishments.
So he's got Diancie, this Ultra Ball if he wants it.
Can't tell if there's a Shrine in his hand. Even still, hitting for 200 here is great. He can set up for a Shrine, and it forces Xander to try to use that shady move play that we saw him use in that first game.
So he's got a Switch in his hand, and he's got the Beast Energy, so he can burn at least 2 cards.
Ooh, he does still Instruct, right.
To get down to Instruct. And, you know, Alex demonstrated that just looking at, you know, even 1 card is all you need to get the exact combo. But he opts for the Trubbish instead. Maybe Diancie was prized, or maybe he just thinks that the chance of him getting that lucky twice, not going to happen, but we'll see what he does.
I think it may have been prized. At this point, I think you want to be going for that play, but now we see he's not even going to attach the Beast Energy, maybe knowing that card's not in his deck.
So now, Xander does have an Ultra Ball, so he could, like, grab a Lele for an Acerola to negate this. He actually just tops the Acerola.
Wow, what a good draw.
So if I'm Xander, the thing I want to find is obviously a Rainbow Energy. I'd love to start pushing Bennett, you know, because Alex doesn't really have a lot of good answers to Bennett GX.
Yeah, he needs just 1 single supporter in his discard pile, and then he'll be able to Shadow Chant, knock out Psychic Weak Pokemon. Does trade away an Ultra Ball. You want to be mindful of how many items you get rid of, but he does find a Rainbow.
So this is huge for Xander. You know, he'll go down to 4 prizes, but you know, he doesn't really care. He's getting pretty close to his ideal board state. He might even Acerola and not put down the Zoroark, and just keep the Zorua, so that way Sledgehammer, you know, is almost completely negated, because it's not going to knock out this Bennett.
That would be a pretty clever play. We'll see if that's what he wants to do. I mean, it also means he gets to draw less cards this turn, so it's a little rough, but I think that might be his best decision, honestly, his best play. I think like 3 or 4 items in his discard pile so far. See if a Zoroark comes down or not. 1 Rainbow puts a damage counter on Bennett. It's looking like since he's already retreated and attached his energy, I'm pretty sure he's not going to put his Zoroark in play. So good call there. Not going to put it out and make sure that Alex doesn't get great value out of this Sledgehammer turn.
So now, if I'm Xander, I think I put it on the Baby Buzz like that, just in case the Devoured Field gets replaced. Bennett will obviously one-shot this Buzzwole. So now, you know, Sledgehammer, he tops the Choice Band.
Choice Band and Beast Energy. He can still hit for a lot. I don't think he can hit 210, though, without access to Diancie Prism Star.
Last turn, he could have actually hit the combo to one-shot the Zoroark.
Yeah, he was 1 card off.
So that's unfortunate. But he has to Kukui again. These are not the cards he wants.
There's Shrine of Punishments. There. Oh, that actually gets him there. That's 200. No, it's 200 damage. Yeah, minus 20, 180, and then 190 from the Shrine of Punishments.
That is incredible. Wow, Xander probably not expecting that.
They're doing the math, just double checking. They should be correct because of that Kukui.
Yep. Wow. But see, now the thing is this Shrine, Xander has the Devour Field to replace and the double Zoroark. So he can respond right away, and then Alex's board is, quite honestly, pretty weak.
Yeah, he knocked out that Sudowoodo early on, so because of that, he's going to have the ability to, you know, bench all of his Pokemon and get 2 more Pokemon in play. He does have Stretcher and Nest Ball in his hand, so he has the cards he needs as long as he can find and a double colorless, which I think is right there in his hand.
Yeah, he picked that up with the Acerola.
So we'll see off of these trades what he gets. I mean, he also needs to be mindful of how many items he plays, though. The thing about Nest Ball and Rescue Stretcher, they are both item cards. That is going to start stacking up for Trash Lance to start doing some work. Xander a little bit on the back foot here, but still not out of it. Looks like we're going to get a count of items 4, it appears.
This is fine. He can play both of those items.
Feel
and
pretty safe.
feel safe about it. Xander taking this knockout here, I think that'll put him in an extremely advantageous position for the rest of this game.
I think he's thinking about trading away a DCE. He drew another one off that last trade. Looks like it's going to be a Lily, though, instead. Which, I mean, I like saving your energy always.
So he gets actually 2 basics
Wow.
off of that trade. One of them is the Lele. So he could play the Lele if he wanted, or just put down the next row. I think he's eyeing a Shuppet if it's in there.
If he had another rainbow, I'm not sure if he did. He could maybe do something with his own baby Buzzwole this turn.
That's true as well. Just preserve the Zoroarks.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a Tapu Lele pro. Not even the promo, sorry. Has the same attack as the promo, but this is the one from Ultra Prism. It's the fairy typing.
Yeah, so,
what do you think he wants to do with this Tapu Lele?
he opts to not take the Lele. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just fails it. Maybe he just wanted a deck search, and he'll just play the Zorua and the Lele.
Sure.
GX. That's 3 GX in play, but his position will be so much better than Alex's. Oh, he's actually going to play the Stretcher. Take the Shuppet back.
That makes sense.
This is fine too. He can sweep the game with a Banette. Now that Sledgehammer is no longer a threat, and he'll take out this Buzzwole. So
Alex is left to the field of just Trubbish and a Rangaroo, so he's drawn what he needs basically this whole game, but now he doesn't really have a great response. I believe 6 items in the discard.
Yep, I think so.
So with Shrine of Punishments, he could still take a 2-hit knockout with Trash Alliance theoretically, but Xander, we know, does have one more Acerola in his deck.
Yeah, Xander also has a Guzma play for next turn, like if Alex put down a Slugma.
Sure.
So Xander, I think, is pretty comfortably in the driver's seat right now. And we'll see what Alex gets off of this Cynthia. See a Buzz.
There's an Acrobike. Sees the top 2, Psychic Energy, and a Garbodor. Looks like he'll hang on to the Garb for now. Yeah, it looks like we might just see a Trash Lance does 100 damage after resistance, and then 10 damage from the Shrine of Punishments.
Yep. So Xander really, if I'm Xander, there's the Banette. Maybe an Acerola if I can find it. There's another Guzma in his hand.
He has Lele in his hand, but no bench spot to find the Acerola, so he has one more trade, though. Gonna trade away Guzma. That takes away a few of your options, though.
He also has Garbodor, the Trash Lance Garbodor, if he wants to play the one prize game as well. He's eyeing a Timer Ball, maybe for a third, try and find a third Zoroark GX, but I think maybe he'll Guzma now, take out that Oranguru.
Yeah, I think you just want to draw your prize cards now as Xander. But I think he actually traded away his Guzma. I don't know if he has a second one in his hands.
I thought he did.
Maybe he does. Hopefully he does. If that's what he's looking to do. There's a DCE. He does have a second Guzma.
So he's actually just going to retreat and save that Guzma.
And this is smart. Preserves the supporter. He can still take out this Garbodor.
So, I don't know. There's at least 2 Kukui in Alex's discard as well. So, I think this Zoroark is relatively safe from a retaliation one-shot, but
yeah, and maybe if Alex took... Well, I mean, he didn't even take prizes last turn, so I don't think he has DNC still. I think it is still prized.
yeah, you're right.
So I don't know that Alex, without DNC Prism Star, has a way to respond.
I also did not see a Guzma in Alex's hand to maybe try and to take out that damaged Zoroark.
Ooh, and this is smart
but the
too.
weakness policy protects it. Now that Zoroark is almost certainly safe on the bench. Alex does not run any Field Blower, so tools like that will stick, and he's forced to Cynthia.
No Slugma in play yet from Alex. I wonder if he just hasn't been able to set it up. Maybe they're prized. Maybe he just I guess he just has had the value setting other things up over the Slugmas. That's one of the things about this deck. It can be a little clunky. Once it sets up, it's very powerful, though.
Yeah, definitely. There's a Rescue Stretcher and another Trubbish, 2 Stretchers actually. So he can get some Pokemon back, but Xander only has 2 prizes left, and So he plays a Sudowoodo. So he's going to take away Xander's Zoroark, right, his beating damage.
And we'll see what Xander wants to discard here. He could discard the damaged Zoroark, but he wants to keep his trades around. Wants to still be able to draw cards. Debating getting rid of Zorua. He could get rid of Tapu Koko. You want to have mobility, though. Yeah, it looks like he's going to ditch the Zorua this time.
He'll swing, and then
Does
the
60
Shrine
damage.
ticks. They'll bring it to 90 and 130. Just shows the Zoroark that he drew.
Could have had 3 trades in play, but this is fine.
We'll trade. So really what he's looking for here, if I had to guess, a Rainbow Energy, I think. But he has another DCE, so he can actually knock out this Sudowoodo on the bench, or that Trubbish with Trash Avalanche, and just set up the Banette for to take the last prize.
Sure.
So we'll see. He also has another weakness policy, so he can protect the other Zoroark and put both of them out of range of Sledgehammer. Wonder if he'll do that.
Looks
Does
like it. Has Banette as well.
You know, he's thinking about Banette. Maybe he doesn't want to put it down because of the Shrine, but I think putting it down here is fine.
Yeah, it's probably it's probably okay, but I think you just want to eliminate any potential options Alex has, and I mean, at this point, I think Xander knows Alex doesn't play any disruption cards, like he doesn't play Judge, so he can always put it in play.
Actually, Alex does have one Judge.
Oh, he does have one. Never mind.
But he might have discarded it earlier this game off of an Ultra Ball, but he does just opt to play the Banette anyway.
Maybe he looked through the discard and saw the Judge and was like, oh, maybe he does have access to another one.
Yeah, so now we are
Taking
kind of
no
in the
chances.
final turn. Alex does have another Stretcher, so he will be able to get that Sudowoodo back if he wanted it, and negate Zoroark's ability to one-shot the Buzz.
Could also get Trash Avalanche back, but he's going to eye up that Sudowoodo you were talking about. Switch, brings the Garbodor up, or the Trubbish, and now he's going to Cynthia, and he needs to find Garbodor here.
Yeah. You know, I would have maybe used Instruct first, because there's no guarantee that you can play the cards off this Cynthia. So Instruct would guarantee you to see at least one card,
Sure.
and increase your chances. But you know, maybe I don't know how many Ultra Ball Alex has left. Guzma,
There's
Ultra
an
Ball,
Ultra Ball.
Trash
Just
Avalanche,
draws it. There you go.
and Macargo.
Looks like there is the DNC Prism Star, so maybe it wasn't prized. He just didn't find a good time to put it down.
Yeah. Kind of shrugs. A little late there.
And
Fancy.
it looks like, he's going to take 2 prizes, but Xander's in a good spot. All he needs here is either a Stadium and a Pokemon or a Rainbow Energy, and he'll be able to take his last prize. Stadium would boost his damage up with a Pokemon in play.
So I think if I'm Xander, I would maybe not put a Pokemon on. He has Lele.
Okay.
So I think
I think he's just burning the Nest Ball.
Yeah,
checking
just wanted
his
to check the deck. Yep. Oh, he's actually eyeing a Guzma.
He just has it, yep. Guzma brings up the Sudowoodo.
Sudowoodo, and that is the game. Xander will take the victory. You know, that was a pretty good game 3. You know, Alex was kind of struggling with his draws, unfortunately. You know, he had to play Kukui as a draw supporter once or twice that game. So not what you wanted to see, but you know, very well.